Hi guys. Oh my god, I'm so late. My hair is a mess. But nonetheless, we made it. I'm so excited today. Oh my god, almost didn't happen, but I'm so excited today to be talking to Katie Kelly. Oh my gosh. Really quickly, we're going to dive into her healing story with Crohn's disease. A lot of you know I have healed from ulcerative colitis and via carnivore animal-based diet, and I am just thrilled to be chatting with Katie today. Here she is, also known as Little Bit of Fit. Are you there? Hi, Katie. Let's see. Hi.
Hello.
We made it.
Such is life.
Oh my God, I was feeling so bad. So instead of like renovating our house, we're purchasing a new house. And that means we literally have these deadlines with, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about us and you and how amazing and fabulous. And you're just such a shining light in the world of people like me who have suffered from irritable bowel, ulcerative colitis, things like that. For so many years. And then to see someone like you sharing your story is just such a relief because it worked for me too. So, do you want to dive into really quickly? I know we are short on time. Just a little bit of your story and then how you found carnivore and like just sort of the healing journey, just all the things, Katie.
Yeah, so I'll try to make this quick. It's kind of
Yeah.
a long story, like when you've suffered with this stuff for basically your entire life. So, like, if you followed my journey at all, I struggled with gut issues basically my entire life. Along with those gut issues, so I had symptoms, and all of our symptoms are a little bit different. So, my particular ones were like I was always bloated, like, especially after lunch, and like by evening time, like I looked like I was 6 months pregnant. Could never understand why. I had GI bleeding. I had like right lower quadrant abdominal pain, which for all my non-medical people, it's kind of like where your appendix is. Always had pain there. That's where my Crohn's disease is affected. Struggled with it basically my entire life. So you go to the doctor and what do they tell you? They tell you to eat more fruits, vegetables. You need to eat more fiber. Like you're doing all this stuff wrong. And so I'm like, okay, well, it's not that I don't like fruit. It's not that I don't like fiber. It's not that I'm afraid of carbohydrates or anything like that. Um, but it wasn't working for me. Like my symptoms were exacerbating and they were getting worse. So throw gut issues on there, throw, growing up an overweight kid because my highest weight was 160 pounds. I was always an overweight kid, kids being mean, throwing disordered eating, like basically my entire life for like 3 decades. On top of gut issues, it's so paralyzing. It affects every facet of your life. How I found carnivore, I always noticed like I've done every diet under the face of the sun, like many of us have, that have struggled with issues. I always noticed when I went meat-based or like low carb, because I really didn't do labels. Like Atkins was really big, like back in the day. I noticed my gut symptoms got better. That was before I had any like really nutrition knowledge, anything at all, like I do now. But I noticed the correlation between the two. So years later, my body's been all shapes and sizes. If you guys scroll through the gram, like I transparently share my journey. I've not always been this size. It's taken about 10 years really to build the physique that you see today. And it's been full of lots of struggles and lots of experimentation. So please have patience. Like 2 big pieces of advice for you guys. One, please be patient because it takes a really long time to figure out what's right for you. And it's totally okay. Like have patience. The other big thing, you guys got to stop chronically undereating. That's number 2, because that's the majority of the problem that I see, and probably 99% of the people that I talk to, clients, all different walks of life, like trying to progress and, chase body goals is just chronic undereating. So through the process of elimination and trying different kinds of experimentation, I kind of figured out, hey, when I go low carb, like my gut stuff feels better. My inflammation goes down a little bit. So when COVID hit us the first time, so this would have been back in like 2020, You know, they took the gym away from us. So I was like, all right, well, no better time to like buckle down and really try like a more meat-based approach than now, because I did CrossFit, which is typically a sport that is a higher glycemic fueled sport. So like a carbohydrate fueled sport. So I was like, all right, well, the volume of my workouts have gone down. The intensity of my workouts has gone down. Obviously eating these carbs, you know, I was eating still just basically white rice because I knew by that time that I couldn't digest fruits or vegetables or any of that stuff very well. So I had pretty much excluded most of it, but was still eating a lot of white rice products and just still kind of just something didn't feel right. Buckled down, experimented with it for about a year. It really did take me about a whole year to adapt to this way of eating, figuring out what shade of the carnivore diet. I really hate using labels because I eat other things like besides like strict meat. And you guys can do whatever shade of the carnivore diet, or I like to say meat-based diet or animal-based diet that you guys want. There's no right, wrong way to do it. I don't care what you eat. I think most of us just want you to eat what you guys feel best on and you're healthy. And if it works, great. If you're a vegetarian, great. If you're a vegan, great. And that all works for you and you're not being an asshole about it, cool. Like, don't really care. But so that's kind of in a nutshell. That's me. And here I am today. I still include things like coffee. I absolutely love coffee. I know some people can't drink it. I love coffee. I still include that. I still include social alcohol on occasion. You know, don't overdo it by any means, but I still enjoy that. But for the most part, as far as food, I don't crave carbs anymore. I had a bad emotional relationship with them as well and sugar. So just cut them out. Don't really crave them. Yeah, that's about it. Meat and eggs. I eat a lot of meat bars. That kind of blew up unexpectedly. It's basically air fried ground meat. It is nothing fancy, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's delicious. I know that's something I was eating early on myself when I found you. Gosh, I relate so much to your story, like all the way through the overweight kid, the bloating. I mean, just so much. And I found, and maybe you can relate to that when I started eating enough. So I think in like August, or maybe a little bit before March of 2021, I went strict carnivore and I found that I wasn't eating enough. So when I started eating like way more than, I'm talking like 2,000 calories. I was that girl that was doing 1,200. And the craving for the carbs and the sugar went away.
Mm-hmm. It's really easy to do. It's easy to undereat because our meals are so satiating, and the quantity of meals that one can eat like in one sitting is going to be different for all of us. I find those of us that have had maybe a binge eating past or a disordered eating past, we are actually able to put away quite a lot of food in large quantities because we're used to binge eating. So it's one or the other. You either eat so much and you only eat one meal a day, but you're still under eating because you're trying to get that many calories into one meal. Or the other problem is that you are way overeating, like with higher fat meats and foods, because you don't realize it's hard to feel when you're full. One, when you're eating fast. Two, when you're eating hyper palatable, like calorically dense foods, and you've struggled with like a bad relationship with food in the past. You really got to slow down and assess where you are, like mentally and physically, like waiting 20 minutes. Or I think even when I was eating the meat bars, I mean, I can smash 2 to 3 pounds of meat in one sitting, especially if I've been fasting for 20 or 24 hours, just maybe my schedule's busier for shits and giggles. I fast longer. I mean, I can eat that much in one meal. My digestion feels like crap when I'm done. I don't feel good eating that much in one sitting. So really it's just being self-aware, managing your energy, what is best for your digestion, what is right for you and your goals. Like there's no right, wrong way to do it.
Yeah, thank you. I think too, when you get to that point where you do eat enough, the cravings go away. I mean, I too have the same problem with carbs and sugar, and I finally gave up a couple of other things last year that I did not think I was going to ever be able to. But when I rose the amount of food that I was eating, and instead of doing one meal a day. I split up into 2 meals a day because the food just, I do have to give myself a break with having the colitis, giving myself a break from by the time I finish dinner until my next meal in the morning, which is usually after and I drink coffee. Thank God I can still have coffee.
I know. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Coffee and alcohol I can still have. We're good. I mean, you
No,
guys got.
yeah, I think it's amazing that also just I don't feel bloated. That was like, I never thought that going this way was going to be the answer. And I fortunately had a GI doctor who told me, yeah, take the kale out. Like, why are you doing that? No more, just why do you need to eat tomatoes? Just eat meat and eat some meat. Eat some meat, she said. And then I've had other GI doctors tell me, oh, okay, so go completely vegan. I'm like, didn't you hear what I just said about when I drink juice? Like what happens to me mentally, emotionally?
Foods problems and they're like all plants and people tell you you need to eat more plants, you're like, no. There's a correlation there.
Big correlation. And I can actually see now over the time that I've been doing this, just adding, like going back and forth with something with like nuts that I struggled with. Nuts were kind of one of the last things to go for me.
Oh,
I
me
would,
too.
yeah, I would see, like I would start to see a difference in my stools immediately. Like I would feel certain things, the oxalates, they just,
Yeah,
it's,
huge too. So even when I first went carnivore, just trying things out, I wasn't tracking my food, which that's one thing I wish I had done because I had no idea how much I was eating. I was actually eating in a surplus when I started. I was eating a lot of nut butter, coconut butter, and sunflower seed butter. And I still had no idea. I was like, why do I still look inflamed? Why does my gut still hurt? And then I had stumbled upon a Dr. Stephen Gundry like podcast because he talks about lectins and oxalates and things that cause problems. And it was like light bulb. Like I can't have nuts, seeds, nut butters, which like devastated me because I loved sunflower seed butter. But once I got rid of all of that and stuck to meat, eggs, pork, I still noticed bothered me a little bit, so I had to cut that out for the majority. That's a kind of like, I hate saying treat, but something that I don't normally eat. Special occasions, and turkey, I don't digest well when it comes to meat. So just note, like, we all digest things differently, and just keep a list and notice when you're having symptoms. Lectins, oxalates, usually like gritty foods, artificial sweeteners, trying to think of all the things, basically all fruits, all plants, fiber, gums, fillers, all of that stuff made me miserable. And it's in the majority of the healthy, like diet foods that they tell you to eat, like bars, shakes, boxed meals, vegan meals, like things like that. That is basically all they are, guys. And that fake beyond the meat crap, like I'm not even gonna filter myself. It's a bunch of shit. Don't eat it. It's all fillers. Like if you check the ingredients in there, guys, if you're having gut issues, just read your labels. Read all of your labels.
yeah, unfortunate that I noticed in my grocery store that there wasn't a fake meat section, and slowly the fake meat section has gone to half, and it like freaks me out.
And
Yeah.
it's regular meat. So like some people don't even realize what they're grabbing because like I'll watch people like in the store and I just want to be like, I just want to scream. I mean, I don't know if I ever tried the Beyond the Meat patties. Like this was so long ago. I've tried tofu before. Ugh, never liked it. It's like the meme says, how to prepare tofu, throw that shit in the trash. Like whatever, you guys can send me hate messages. I'm sure I'll get some. But like it's just, guys, just go your own way. Read your labels. If it makes you feel crummy, whether it's pork or meat, I mean, it doesn't have to be carbs or plants or anything. Like just pay attention to what's bothering you. And if it take it out, if it's bothering you, try it again and see if you get your symptoms again. Like trial and error is the only way you're going to figure this stuff out.
Yep, that's going on 15 years of figuring out for me. Um, and now I know really clearly when it's like almost intuitive. if like, and I too, sometimes I'll enjoy, you know, if I in the summer craving like a crisp salad or so, I'll have it. It's, I
Hmm.
that now, but I also am very wary of what kind of lettuce it is. Like it has to, you know, be the butter or whatever the lower oxalate, and I don't do it all the time. It's kind of like, you know, you having a drink on, you know, once a week even. Like I feel like you go right back into carnivore all week. You just clean it all up.
Yeah, I really, as long as I stick to like no more than 3 drinks.
Hmm.
And so we'll talk about social alcohol real quick because that's always a huge question that I get.
Hmm.
So go out, I try to stick to anything that's low in sugar, low in carbs. My favorite cocktail is an old fashioned, which is made with simple syrup. So that's kind of my non-negotiable. If I know that I want, so I'm active enough, my body knows what to do with carbohydrates. I don't freak out about having carbohydrates. I'm past that point. I'll have one, but my limit is like 3 drinks. I know I can't have any more than that. I moderate my alcohol. So most of the time I'll order like, water with lemon and lime, or I'll order a Diet Coke, which I can still consume Diet Coke with no problems. And I'll order a shot of whatever, vodka, tequila, bourbon, whatever I want. And I mix my drink. I mix my drink because I know how much alcohol is in it. I don't leave that up the majority of the time to the bartender serving me unless it's someplace that I frequent. I know how they make them. I know what to expect. So have your non-negotiables. If you know you're going to go out and enjoy cocktails in the evening and say you're in a fat loss cut or a diet, eat less during the day. Like save your non-negotiables for, maybe a fattier meal than you normally eat or a cocktail or two. Like it's really all about balance.
Hmm.
Um, and what's right for one's not always right for the other. But and ordering meals when you go out, like speak up. Like tell them how you need your food cooked. Like take responsibility for what you're putting into your body. Like nobody really is paying attention to you. Like we think that people are judging us when really it's us. We're judging ourselves. We're thinking about what other people are thinking about us when that's probably not even what they're thinking about.
Right.
So you have allergies to certain things. You don't need sauces, seasonings, anything like that on your foods. Just tell them. Just say, hey, I need this cooked like as plain and basic as possible. Can you do that for me? And they'll say yes or no. And trust me, I never had a place tell me unless it was pre-cooked or pre-made that they couldn't cook it plain for me or give me. I always say I get meat with a side of meat. So I'll order like something that I don't normally get, like grilled salmon or a nice steak or prime rib or, something that I don't normally eat during the week. Like that's kind of my treat, which I hate saying treat, but just something that I enjoy not on a regular basis during the week.
Yeah, those are great tips. I find too that in this day and age, no waiter is surprised when you say, hold the bun, or I don't, it's like very commonplace now. So I feel like we shouldn't be afraid to, especially in front of other people. And when we do finally give ourselves permission to be and do what we need to do, we are literally allowing everybody else permission to say, oh, well, if they're, I've had that happen to me where people will start to say, oh, well, if you're doing that, then why can't I? Or you're almost 40 and I'm almost 40. What's the difference here? Like, you do this and I don't do that. Or, you'll start to see people sort of try to take care of themselves better. So you are definitely a walking permission slip for so many people. I just can't tell you, your posts, they're just so detailed, they're so relatable, they're so honest. I love how you're like no diet dogma. That's like I actually add that into my because I feel like that's such an important thing. Like I also don't like labels and things like that. I will use certain terms when I am trying to get a point across, like strict carnivore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
End of story. There's no other way to say it. Animal-based eating is working very well for me. And um, I was one that wanted to go vegetarian. So I thought that that was the only way to be. And now understanding the cycle of life, right? Like it's normal. We are animals. We need to eat meat, in my opinion. And maybe I guess other people don't feel better, not on meat, and that's fine too. But so I know that we are totally crunched for time. Um, can you let us know, Katie, what it is you do? I know you're a health coach. I know all about you, but the reason I wanted to have you on here is because for the people that are following me to know about you as well. You're a health coach.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a little bit. I'm aware of many hats. I do lots of things. So I have worked in healthcare. I've worked in radiology. I've been a nutritionist for 16 years. So I do X-ray. You'll see me if you like follow along my journey. Like I'll get my steps walking around my CT machine and outside. Like I preach success habits because we're all different. Like we can all learn something from each other. We're all busy people doing different stuff. So yeah, so I'm a health coach. I take consultation calls all the time, monthly clients. I'm running a special right now in April. My prices are going to go up next month. I work for 3 different hospital systems in radiology. So just busy boss girl shit, doing lots of stuff. I write a lot. So I've had some blogs published like on Crohn's and managing social aspects of that and just special digestive needs. Writing is kind of my therapy. It's what I enjoy. So I will do that too. I write every morning. I typically write like at least 2 posts a day. So I'll do like a more educational one in the afternoon to help teach you guys from like the questions that I get via, social media or emails. I have an email group. I'll send out weekly emails, just doer of all the things.
Yes, yes, and I'm hoping and waiting that there's a book that comes one day because
List.
I know it's on your bucket list since I first found you. I think I've been saying, Katie, are you going to write a book? So I think again, you are a Pied Piper. You are definitely someone who I want people to know about. I think it's important, especially in this day and age where we're told one thing and really something else is working much better for folks like us with digestive issues. And yeah, so I want to ask you a couple of more questions about really quickly. I know how many minutes do you have?
I got about 10 more minutes, so we're good. Go
Um,
for
so just like more specifically when you started eating meat, like your digestion and the way you felt, just a little bit more in detail on how you felt
it.
when you start, like how many days in? Was it weeks? Was it 3 days? Like for me, it was like 3 days. And I was like, what? Like I used to have so much gas,
Yeah,
so much gas. I don't,
it's crazy. I noticed a big difference probably within the first week just of gut issues going down. I'd say by 2 weeks in, my gut issues were completely gone. I'm in remission for Crohn's. I'm not on any medication. Um, I've had some pretty doozies like of flare-ups where I've had to go on steroids and antibiotics, but luckily I've never had to have surgery. I have had my gallbladder removed, so I don't have my gallbladder. Um, but yeah, I'd say within 2 weeks, like my gut issues were cleared up. I noticed, like, even when I'll see like Facebook memories or Instagram memories, my face is so swollen. And I had no idea I looked like that. I'm not saying that I looked bad, just a noticeable physical difference from even 2 years ago, like before, even when I first started. My skin cleared up, gut issues went away. I was having a reaction all of a sudden to my lash extensions. Um, just all of a sudden. But then once I changed my diet, I really haven't had a reaction much since. As long as they don't use any, they use sensitive formula typically on me, but that went away. Oh my gosh, so many things. I just finished up like a 5-week mini cut. I was experimenting on, because I hadn't dieted in 2 years, to see just by minimal food changes and increasing just steps, like what aesthetic changes. I got really good results in 5 weeks. So I put a stop to that this morning. You guys can follow along. I've posted pictures and all kinds of stuff. Probably the easiest cut I've ever done. Like super duper easy. Like mental clarity is out of this world. um Trying to think, just man, all things. My period got a little light, which normally does when you diet, but that's already back normal. Like, it's crazy. I gained 15 pounds when I first started the carnivore diet. So let's back up a little bit. So when I first started, I was eating in a surplus. I wasn't tracking my food. I gained 15 pounds, and you guys can see pictures on my Instagram. I have them posted everywhere. Um, it took about 8 months. Finally, I like started tracking my food, started nailing down macros, excluding food that I didn't digest well, like pork and turkey. My workouts didn't change a whole lot. You know, I kind of took it easy, like especially during COVID when intensity and volume in my CrossFit and gym was like taken away. But workouts really didn't change that much. But once I figured out like food quality, food quantity, I tracked my food. Like, I dropped 20 pounds in 2 months. And people were like, what the hell did you do? And I was like, I started tracking my food. Self-awareness is amazing, right? I really don't have to track my food anymore. I've done it for so long. I know exactly what I'm eating, and I'm a creature of habit. I eat
Yeah.
about things every day, cook in my air fryer for the majority. You know, I'll eat special things that I don't normally eat, like steaks and prime rib and salmon and, you know, stuff like that. When I go out to eat, that's kind of my, you know, like a special thing for me, or my social alcohol. And guys, it's that easy. Like, it's so much food freedom. Like, I have never had this much food freedom. Like, I don't feel like it's restrictive at all. No more binge eating. I no longer have disordered eating or binge eating. I don't even think about it anymore. And that alone is worth it for me, and like my gut feeling good over any aesthetic, like what I look like me feeling good and having food freedom is everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean, you put that all so well. Thank you. Thank you. I relate to so much of it. I am now this year feeling that food freedom in a way that I have never felt before, and I'm just excited to continue to live in that way and manifest um, my life and do all the things that I love. I'm not bogged down anymore about diet, like weight and diet and all of this. So yes, Katie, thank you so much. I'm so glad I made it on here. And again, I apologize.
No, you're fine. We made it work. Somebody had asked, how did I know I didn't digest pork? Well, guys, it all comes down to tracking your food and noticing how your digestion is after you eat specific things. I noticed after I ate ground pork or bacon or anything pork related, like I love like pork belly, I would feel like my food would sit right here and it wouldn't digest, and I would have reflux. That is a sign that you're not digesting what you're eating very well. And I made sure I wasn't stressed. I was eating, you know, slow and mindfully, versus when I ate beef or even chicken, I didn't have those symptoms. So pay attention to things like that. That is an indicator of what you're digesting well. Maybe you're eating too much. Like, track your food, track your food, track your food, track your food. I can't stress it enough.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I had to do in the beginning. Track, track, track. Um, yeah, so thank you so much.
Welcome.
Forward to this. And guys, please go follow Katie Kelly, Little Bit of Fit. I'm telling you, her page is all the rage. You will love it. You will love it.
Thanks.
So much for being so open and so honest with your journey, because again, you are a walking permission slip, my friend.
Thank you, love. You too.
You have a
So,
good
you
one.
guys,
Bye.
bye.
Bye, guys.